My name is Akiva Goldman. I'm the Director and Founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan. And today we continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public. So please subscribe to our channel. Can one get custody after a long period of absence? Well, it's a very, very good question. I mean, if you wanted to give a quick answer, the court might well say that an absentee mother or an absentee father who all of a sudden Johnny-come-lately, comes in and wants to have custody of the child, court's likely to say no to that request. Well, that's the fast answer. It's probably true. However, a lot of times there are reasons why the absentee father all of a sudden comes in and wants to get custody. And those reasons may support a change in what we would normally think would be the answer to this question. For example, mom is raising the child. She prefers that dad not be involved so it won't confuse the child. Dad foolishly goes along with it, and now 5-6 years later, dad has virtually no relationship with the child. Then, what happens? Mom gets terminally ill, cannot take care of the child anymore. Mom becomes a drug addict. The influence of the child is a terrible one. A child is homeless. The child is this, child's that. All of a sudden, dad's got to come up. He can't believe what's going on. He hears about it. He files a petition. He says, Judge, I know I've been absent because we had an arrangement, but that arrangement is no longer working and I want to take care of my child. What's going to happen in that situation? You know what? If the court genuinely thinks that there's immediate risk, the first thing the court is going to do is take the child out of that situation. Now the court has already made up its mind, I'm taking the child out of that situation. What do I do with him? The court has an option. Give it to an absentee father who hasn't had much of a relationship with the child, but is in fact the father and does have somewhat of a bond and cares about the child, or put the child in a foster situation with a bunch of strangers who have no stake in it at all. You know what the court will probably do in that situation? Assuming the father's a reasonable person with a reasonable job, takes care of himself, is not a felon, not a drug addict, that kid is probably going to go with the natural parent, even though the natural parent has not had much of a relationship. Now, what about if it's the other way around? What about if it's a situation where the father wants to come into the relationship because he's had problems, and for years he was taking care of his addiction, and now he's better, but the child is well adjusted. The child is with mom. Child's going to school, mom has a job, mom has a nice home, mom may have another relationship, mom may have another child. Can this guy come up and file a petition to get custody? He can file petitions all day if he wants to. But is it likely that the court will grant him custody and remove the child from a healthy environment and put him in another questionable environment? Yes, it's more likely than not the court's going to say, no, I'm not going to grant that. Now, that doesn't mean the court won't try to encourage some level of relationship. The court might allow him some parenting time. The court might have a visitation schedule. Perhaps it'll be supervised at first, and maybe incrementally it'll get more and more and more. But in terms of custody, if you're wondering, is it likely that the father can come up out of the blue and just snatch custody away? In most cases, you're going to find that the courts are reluctant to do that because they'll find that it's not likely to be in the best interest of the child. If you have any questions about that, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out.